Hello everyone, welcome to Come Sit at My Table. We're Tom and Melissa and we appreciate you being here. Today we are going to make a dessert, I guess. It's kind of a mixture between a cookie, a candy, and a dessert. And it's very, very simple to make. It literally has 4 ingredients. We are going to make meringues. Now, if you've never had a meringue, the easiest way I can describe it is that it's a bite of a little cloud. It is literally just whipped egg whites that have been sweetened. And you're going to see that it's very simple to do. People get a little intimidated with meringues. It's not hard. You're going to see that it's very simple and it has very few ingredients. This is all we're going to use today. We have 7 egg whites. Now, when you're separating the egg whites and the yolks, you want to be sure not to get one speck of yolks in those egg whites, and you want to make sure that you have a really clean bowl. You cannot get any grease at all of any kind, no oil or grease in those egg whites, or they just will not whip up correctly. So make sure when you're separating them, you don't have any of the yolk in there. Don't let that yolk break and get in with your egg whites, or this just won't work very well. I will tell you that I used the 7 egg yolks out of those 7 eggs to make a key lime pie. And our key lime pie recipe is in a video on this YouTube channel. So if you want to use the egg yolks some other way, I would highly recommend you make a key lime pie. It is absolutely delicious and it's extremely easy too. So that's just one way you can use up those egg yolks from those 7 egg whites. Okay, so besides the 7 egg whites, we're going to use 3 cups of powdered sugar. And I forgot to lay this out where Melissa could show you what it looks like. So let me do that. It's just also called Confectioners Sugar or 10X sugar. It's just 3 scant cups. You don't want to pack that sugar in those cups. You want to gently just spoon it in and level them off, or just kind of sprinkle it in with the bag until it's almost level. But don't heap them up and don't pack it in. 3 very scant cups of powdered sugar. We're also going to use 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar and half a teaspoon of salt. That's it. That's the whole recipe. That's the ingredient list. So let's get started. We're going to take those 7 egg whites and put them in our very clean mixing bowl. We want to make sure it's got no grease or oil whatsoever in it. We're just going to let all that egg white mixture drip in there. Get as much in as we can, but I'm not even going to scrape it out because we don't want to take the chance of getting something in there. I'm not even going to use a spatula on it. Then we're going to take our whisk, put it on our mixer, and start to whip those egg whites. Now we're going to let those whip until they become frothy and almost to a soft peak stage. You don't want to put anything in there yet. You want those to start whipping and getting the air in there. And you can turn it up. I wouldn't go straight too high, but you can turn it up a little at a time until it starts to whip up, and then you can turn it up. Let it whip. I'm going to go on up. That's on 8 out of 10. Now, these are little bite-sized meringues. You can make them as big as you want, but the bigger you make them, the longer you have to bake them because you need them to dry out completely. If they aren't completely dried, then they're going to be a little sticky and they will begin to weep as they sit over the next little bit. So you really want to make them, I don't know, about the size of a golf ball, maybe the diameter of a golf ball, and just, you know, something that's kind of a bite size. All right, look at our egg whites. You can see how frothy they are. I'm just going to stop this for a second. You can see how frothy they are, but when you pick this up, they just run off. So they have not started to come to the soft peak stage. It won't take much more, and we can start adding our sugar. Now, when we add our sugar, we're going to do that slowly. Oh, here we go. It's starting to get to that soft peak stage. When we add the sugar, we're going to do it 1 spoonful at a time. I grabbed a different spoon. That one was just a little wet. Okay, let's stop this. Let me show them. You can see now, see how that's got a soft peak to it. When I pick it up, it makes a little bit of a peak, but it falls over. See that? That's where you want it. Now we're going to start adding our sugar. And I'm just going to take a spoon and put in about a spoonful at a time. Give that a chance to mix in. You want to give it a chance to dissolve. And it takes a little while to do this. This is not something you're just going to dump in. You want to give it time to dissolve as you put it in, just a spoonful or 2. And then give it a few seconds and let it kind of beat. You don't want to rush it. Oop, I put that one in backwards and it kind of splashed. And we're going to turn it up just a little. Let it keep beating the air into those egg whites. We'll turn it back down a notch while I put this in because I don't want it to throw powdered sugar all over the kitchen. You can see that they're getting a little thicker as we go. Now we are going to use a piping bag and a piping tip to do this, but you absolutely do not have to have a piping bag or piping tip. We'll talk about the options for that when we get ready to do it. You can see I've just about got all my sugar in. Just adding it a spoon or 2 at a time. Turn it back up a minute and let it really whip that. Okay, and turn it down just a hair. Put another spoonful or 2 in. All right, you can see what I'm down to, and I'm just going to put the rest of that in. Now I'm going to turn it up and let it really whip. Now how do you know when it's ready? Well, it will become very satiny, shiny, and it will be very stiff. You'll have stiff peaks form when you pick that beater up. Clean up my mess here while I'm waiting. You just have to be patient and let it whip that air in there. Let those egg whites get stiff. Wait for it to look very shiny and satiny. Now let's stop it and look at them. When I pick it up and I pull my beater up out of there, you can see it still falls over. It is not stiff. So we know it's not ready yet. We need to keep right on going. I'm going to turn it all the way to 10. That's as high as it will go. And we're going to let it beat. Now, it may take a couple of minutes for this to get there. It may not take long, but it could. So we're going to take a break here and let that keep whipping. When it gets to the stiff peak stage and it's ready for us to pipe, we will come back and let you see what it looks like. It's only whipped for about 1 more minute since we cut the video, and it's pretty much ready. So I'm going to turn it down, and I'm going to add our cream of tartar. Oop, I just splashed it all over the place. I'm going to add our cream of tartar. That's not quite a teaspoonful, so I'm going to get some more. There we go. Okay, and then a half a teaspoon of salt. And you might say, well, why do you need the salt? Well, it really is just to balance out the flavors. Now I'm going to turn it up for just a second. Let it whip those in. And now let's look at it and see if we think it's stiff enough. So you can see that it's shiny and it's almost there. It's almost to stiff peaks. Whew, it's so close. Let's let it go just another few seconds. I thought it was going to be ready by the time we got those in. But it's so close. While that's whipping, I'm going to grab a bigger spoon. Okay, let's see what it's like now. So if I pull it up out of there, that's pretty close, guys. I think we're going to let that be it. So,
can you over whip them?
You can over whip them. If you whip them too long, those eggs will begin to break. You will lose the bubbles that it has whipped into there. So you have to be careful. There is a little bit of a fine line. It's not like it's so touchy that, you know, it's going to just fall apart on you. But yes, you can over whip them. Now, I'm going to move this over here so that I can bring a cookie sheet over, and I have lined it with parchment paper. If you don't have a parchment or a piping bag, you can just scoop these out by the spoonful and put on your parchment paper. That works perfectly fine, and you can do that without a problem. However, if you want to make them really pretty and you want to use a piping bag, then you can do that. And I'm going to do that today just to show you. I do like to use a decorative tip and make them kind of pretty. Now, I am going to squeeze just a little bit into here to make sure I have the air out. And I'm just going to, I'm not a master at this by any means, but I'm just going to kind of pipe them into a circle and put just a little.
They look like the top of an ice cream cone.
And that's never a bad thing, is it? Who doesn't love ice cream? But these are so good. I'm not sure that I would say they're better than ice cream, but I sure do like them. And we have friends that love these. Now, these do not spread. Whatever shape or size you make them is the shape and size they're going to be when they're finished. So you can put them pretty close together. They don't have to be put apart, far apart where they're going to spread or anything. So, and you just want them small enough that they're kind of bite-sized.
These are not bite-sized, baby.
Well, they are for me. They're not bite-sized for you?
No.
Okay, what would be bite-sized for you?
Well, I don't know, but...
Like that? Would that be bite-sized for you?
That's...
Closer?
That's closer, yes.
Okay, well. Okay, it's going to be 2 bites for you then. Because I would have pans and pans and pans full. You do want to keep them all about the same size so that they bake, they dry out in the oven at about the same rate.
Do you need to take that one up?
No, it's fine. Okay, now, I know you don't want to stay here and watch me do this over and over. So I'm going to finish these. We have preheated our oven to 225 degrees. And these will go in the oven for about 3 hours. When we put them in, we will put a wooden spoon handle in the door. Like, I will open this door, put the wooden spoon in the door like that, just so it's cracked a little bit, so that the moisture from these can escape as they dry. And we will leave them in there for about 3 hours to dry out. All right, I'm going to refill my piping bag, and we're going to keep going. And as soon as we have them all piped, we'll come back and let you see what they look like before we put them in the oven. We'll be right back. All right, we are down to our final meringues. You can see that it makes quite a few. And we have our 2 trays almost completely filled. Somebody has already claimed ownership of the beater and the bowl.
That would be me.
So,
Hey, it's my specialty.
she does like licking the bowl. Not gonna lie. Okay, so these are going in 250 degrees, preheated oven. We will prop the door open with the handle of a wooden spoon, and we will leave them about 3 hours, and then we'll check them. How do you know when they're done? Well, they will easily pick up off the parchment paper. They'll be dry, and they'll just pick up easily. So, after 3 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours, you can start checking just to see if they're ready. All right, we're going in. We'll be back when they are ready to take out the oven.
I'm going to show what it looks like with the door propped.
Okay. Put that one on the bottom rack, and this one on the top. And we will take the handle and put right there and prop that open. That's it. 3 hours. We will be back. We'll see you soon. Our meringues baked for 3 hours at 225 degrees. Now, I'm just going to be completely honest with you and tell you that I am not thrilled with the way these turned out. As you know, if you've been watching our videos, we are in a rental house in Florida, and we love this house. We have enjoyed our time here, but the oven in this house bakes very differently than the oven that I have at home. And these should have turned out as white as a sheet of paper. But instead, they are an off-white color. Now, that does not affect the flavor of them, does not affect the taste. It just affects the way they look. It just affects the color. But these are not representative of the way they normally come out, and not representative of the way yours will probably come out. This oven is just extremely hot. And even though I turned the temperature down about 30-40 minutes after I put them in, they still got this off-white, almost caramel color to them. In fact, if you see the edge of this paper, the parchment paper that I baked them on, you can see how the edge of the parchment paper burned, even though it was on 200 degrees. I always bake them on 225, but I turned them down when I realized they were baking really fast, and they still overbaked, I think. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you and tell you, we've already sampled a few of them. Everybody here in the house with us has already had 1 or 2, and they taste great. There's nothing wrong with them. They just have a little bit of a caramel color to them rather than being stark white like they normally are. All right. Here's the tiniest one I made because somebody said they were too big. So guess who gets this one?
Thank you, dear.
Now, I also want to show you how these are loose from the paper. I don't know if you can see this, Melissa. I want you
Zoom in here.
I hope I don't make a mess out of this. I just want to show you how loose they are. See here? They're just sliding off. They're not stuck at all. And that's how you know that they're done. You can look at the bottoms of them and see that they are dry. They're not sticky at all. They're dried out. And they're ready to eat. So, I'm going to have one too. I've already had one. It's like eating a little cloud. It really does just dissolve in your mouth. They are delicious. I promise you, these will probably all be gone tonight. With 6 of us here.
And more friends coming.
And friends coming. They will all be gone tonight. Thank you so much for watching our videos. I really do encourage you to try these. Even if they turn out to be a little caramelly colored, they're delicious. Doesn't hurt a thing. They're very easy to do. You saw very few ingredients. If you don't have a piping bag or a piping tip, you can just snip the corner of a baggie, use a gallon baggie, put your beaten egg whites in there and pipe them out that way. Or just take a spoon and dip them out onto your parchment paper. It still works. You don't have to pipe them out. All right. We hope you've enjoyed our video. We would appreciate it if you'd go right below this video and click the like button, the share button, and if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. That just helps us build our channel. Remember that right below the video where you see the title of this recipe, if you'll click that, the box will expand. That description box has the written recipe in it. Melissa always puts the written recipe there for you, and our contact information is below that written recipe. All right, thank you for coming to sit at our table today. We appreciate it, and we will see you on the next video. Remember, you're always welcome to come sit at my table. Have a great day.